What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and it's been a while. Alright, so I have so much stuff to get through. Some of it I'll be able to lump together and not go into too much detail like I normally do, even though I tend to ramble, which I'm doing right now. I totally get it. I apologize in advance for any newcomers. Hi, welcome to my channel. But I haven't done a pickups video. I haven't done a video in general in a while. But pickups have been stacking up like crazy, and I'm like, holy crap, I gotta do something because I got some really cool stuff, and I wanna share it on my channel. So. Let's just freaking get into it, man. Some of these, I don't remember when I got them. Some of them I do. So just a heads up. But, there is some cool stuff in here, like I said, that I wanted to share. God, I don't even know where to start. First of all, I did get a handful of Nintendo Powers, which have been great. Thank you, Adrian. He sent me a handful that he had lying around, and I'm down to missing 42 issues, I think. So I'm really getting close on that. That's why there are a handful of Wii U games here, because that's what I'm going to be starting up next, is trying to get a complete run of Wii U, because it's attainable. There's only 160 some games, so yeah, for sure. So let's just get started and work our way from the top here. First up, my buddy Lamont. He played Final Fantasy IV. Dude, I know if you're watching this right now, you're like, that was forever ago, man. I know, I'm well aware. But, like I told you, I did pick up Final Fantasy IV Advance for the Game Boy Advance, obviously. I am super excited to try this out because I've been hearing horror stories about this game's development and some of the mechanics being different. So, and it being tougher. So, having played this game probably more than any other game, period, complete to finish. I'm excited to try it out and see what it is. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I do have it. It is here, and I will give it a shot. And Lamont, I will let you know what I think once I do get done with it, because I will finish it. Next up is I got this a while ago as well. It's the Game & Watch Zelda little pocket thing. Man, dude, this thing is so cool. I haven't used it yet. And I'm still debating whether or not I want to. I might just pick up a second one because I still see them out in stores all the time. Man, this thing is just so cool. It's got three Zelda games, whatever Vermin is. So I'm assuming 4 games total, and then 2 clock things on there. And this is such a cool idea. I would love to see a Metroid one as well. So Nintendo Metroid would be a really cool one to do, especially with some of the older ones, you could throw the Game Boy one and obviously the original Metroid on there and stuff. I think that'd be a really cool idea for this. But yeah, really cool little item. Got some books that I'm super excited about. The Super NES Player's Guide. I love these things. I have a Game Boy one as well. And these books are just so fun for me to flip through. I saw this online and I saw it for dirt cheap. So I remember buying it again a while ago. But man, it's got just some of the classics. Not enough RPGs in here. It does have Final Fantasy 2 or 4, I should say, for Super Nintendo, and then it's got Draken and Wanderers from Ys, Link to the Past. But then it's got Super Mario World, Paperboy 2, Legend of the Mystical Ninja, Gradius 3. That game's great, by the way, if you haven't played it on Super Nintendo and you like shooters. It even has John Madden's football. Interesting. F-Zero, all that stuff. I mean, just hints and tips and tricks and all that stuff. And I love flipping through these books. They're so neat. Next up, I have been looking for this for so long that wasn't torn to shreds. And I took a chance on an eBay purchase because it looked good and the price seemed more than fair. And it came in, and the condition is fantastic. That is the official Nintendo Player's Guide. This is kind of the same thing, but it's just regular Nintendo games. And this has just same kind of deal, just maps and strategies and tips, and God, I freaking love flipping through this stuff. It's just so great. Man, yeah, it makes me want to go back and just play the original NES again. The screenshots and the games in these are just so nostalgic and cool to look at. So yeah, I'm really, really happy to have both of those. Next is another one that I saw online, and I was like, that's really neat. And I pulled the trigger. And that is for those of you that don't know, I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV since its inception. I even played the original when it came out. And I love it. It's my favorite MMO by a long shot. And I picked up the Final Fantasy XIV cookbook. Just has a bunch of recipes that from inside the game that they kind of like made to where you can like make in real life. And I just think it's such a neat thing. Anybody want a lemon waffle? That sounds way dirtier than I meant it, but that's what the recipe says. Man, this is just such a neat thing. I will admit I have not made anything out of it yet. I do plan on getting some of the ingredients for like the drinks in there, because there's like some adult beverages, and it just seems really neat to try those out, just because I thought it was a neat little novelty thing that actually, could be cool to try out at some point. So yeah, pick that up. And next thing, a lot of you probably didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't until somewhat recently. There is a group of people online who put together the Xenogears Perfect Works translated edition into a hardcover book. And it is literally Perfect Works, which, if any of you know, anybody that watches my channel knows, Xenogears is my second favorite game of all time. I love it. I love everything about it. It's wonderful. And the Perfect Works is the official one, is only in Japanese, never released out west. And so you can go online, you can read it because they have a translation on there. They have a PDF translation online, and it's chock full of just mind-blowing info. It's such a deep, deep, deep game, and the world and story and what they had planned for the other games and everything like that, it's just so cool. So to have a printed copy is incredible. It's the same thing as the regular one, just completely in English, and I jumped on it in a heartbeat. I thought it was so cool. I'm really, really happy to have this. It's great. So I want to like plug them, but I don't know how that works, because I'm like, I don't know like legalities and that kind of thing. I have it though. So to you out there, thank you for doing that. It's so cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, games. We'll start over here because these are going to be a little easier to run through, I think. Okay. So, first up, 3DS game. There's a game store nearby where I live. There's not a lot of like actual game stores other than like Vintage Stock and everything, which, I like to go to Vintage Stock every now and then, but a lot of times their prices are a little more than I want to pay, and I like looking for like the hole-in-the-wall shops and that kind of thing. Lawrence, Kansas has a shop with 2 locations called Game Nut, and I took a trip out there. A friend of mine had recently gotten married, and it was when I had COVID, so I couldn't attend. I felt really bad, so I told her, I was like, well, let me take you out to dinner. We'll go, wherever you want to. And she's like, oh, I want to go to this Thai place. And I was like, oh, sweet. It's, 45 minutes away from where I live. But, it was all good because we went and had a great time and stuff. And I told her, I was like, do you care if we stop by Game Nut while we're here? And she was like, oh, no, so fine. So we did, and we went in, and I picked up a handful of games. Well, a handful, like 2 or 3. But this is one of the ones I got that is codenamed Steam on the 3DS. This game has always looked super neat to me. It's like a strategy kind of game. I want to say it's like, what's it called? The freaking... I will put the name right here, because I don't remember off the top of my head. But there it is. So yay, it's like that. But I'm super excited to try it at some point because it looks like a fun game. And I've heard nothing but good things. Next is a game that I have wanted for a while because I remember seeing it and it was just iconic when it first came out, but I've never played it. And it just seems like a cool little title to have for the Dreamcast, which I don't have a lot of games for. Give me recommendations because I would love to collect more for that system. And that is Virtua Tennis. I saw it. It seemed like it was nice and cheap, and I was like, I'll pay $20 for that. Sure, why not? And I picked it up. So yeah. I was actually going to get it for $10 a while ago at a different place, but when they opened it, it had a different disc inside, and he was like, we don't have it. Sorry. So all he had was the case, and I was like, gah. But I was happy to pay $20. I'm not a big deal on that. So next up, we've got some Xbox games here for, funny enough, the game I was trying to think of for this, XCOM, that's the one I was trying to think of. I want to say it's similar to that. I could be wrong, and that's how the screenshots in the back kind of make it look. I think it is kind of like that. I have it on PC already, but I saw this on 360 for less than $10 at Game Nut, and I was like, oh, I'm going to snag it because I'd rather play it on console. So I'm happy to have this, and I've played XCOM like once a while ago, and I don't really remember it that well, but I know I didn't do very good, and I didn't play for very long. But I remember being like, this is really cool if I like sink my teeth into it and actually get involved. So always plan on going back to it. I just haven't done it, so I think this will be a perfect opportunity for me to do so. That's funny that it was right after that. So next up, just a game that I thought seemed kind of neat, and I'm a big fan of Pathfinder. That is Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's kind of a strategy RPG-ish kind of game. I love playing. I like tabletop RPGs like D&D and Pathfinder. I'm really big on because I grew up with D&D 3.5. For those of you that know what that means, and I really like Pathfinder's system because it's very similar to that. I saw this and saw that it was dirt cheap, so I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up. So I snagged it, and I will definitely give that a shot at some point. And also, just a game, another one that I saw that was dirt cheap, that I thought looked kind of neat, and that is Locke's Quest on Xbox One. Plus, my cat's name is Locke, spelled a little bit differently. His name has an E on the end, but this is just a neat little game. I thought the art style looked kind of cool. It just looked like a fun game to try out, so I snagged it, and that is, yeah, so there you have it. Again, as I say with most of my pickups videos, if you see anything here that I mentioned that I have not, like, that where I say I haven't played it, and you have, let me know if it's something I should get to right away. Be like, oh my god, you need to try this right now. Because I know people have been telling me to play, like, XCOM forever and get back to that. So, anyways. Okay, so, like I said, I have been trying to... I'm working on getting a complete run of Nintendo Power, every issue, and I'm missing, there's 285, I think, and I have like about 243 of them. I'm missing a lot of the higher up numbers in the like high 100s and like mid 200s. But once I finish that, which hopefully will be, by the end of this year, I plan on starting to actively collect for Wii U and trying to get a complete run of that. And like I said, because it's the most attainable in my eyes, there's only 160 some games, and I think that's totally doable. And plus, pricing's starting to go up, so got to jump on it while I can. So if you have any Wii U games you want to get rid of, just let me know. I'm kidding, don't do that. But I went online and I literally just got the cheapest of the cheap, just stuff that I will most likely never try out, that I don't care about, that I'm just like, oh, here's a lot of just and get it. I will say, I ordered, well, I'll get to that when I get to those games. So, first two, Skylanders Imaginators and Skylanders Superchargers. I will most likely, like I said, never play any of the Skylanders games, but I have these now, and they're in the collection. Guitar Hero Live. Scribblenauts Unmasked. Actually, this one I might actually try. I've always wanted to try one of the Scribblenauts games, and I totally think this seems like a fun little quirky game. So I will probably try this at some point, yes. This does seem really neat. I really like the art style on it, too. So, yeah, that's one that I'll probably give a shot to. Next, I have Disney Infinity, the original, the 1.0, but they had 3 of them, so I picked up 2 and 3. So I got those. Again, probably won't do anything with them. I was really excited for the first one when it came out, and I tried it, and I was like, and I didn't want to like go out collecting a bajillion figures. I probably should have seen that coming from the beginning, but what can you do? Next up, Wii U Your Shape Fitness Evolved 2013. Got it. Next up is a game that I have played on the Switch, and that is Pokken Tournament. I don't know that I'll play this on here. I will probably at some point maybe pick it back up on the Switch. It seemed kind of neat. I started playing it, and I was like, I don't know. I think it was a demo that I tried. I wasn't sure if it was for me, but I always am on the fence about going back to it. So I might try this at some point just to kind of get a refresher and be like, oh yeah, this is what it's like, and we'll see. But yeah, happy to have that. Does it? It does not have the amiibo card on the inside, but I got it really cheap, so I don't care. Next up, another one that I got at Game Nut, and that is Amiibo Festival. It's Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. There you have it. 3, 4 of the Just Dance games. Got 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. Again, just snagged them as a lot and was like, hey, these are like $2 a piece, why not? Just get them, knock them off the list. Okay, so here's the story. Not much of a story, just unfortunate. I actually found a seller who was selling all of the Wii U Lego games, every single one of them, for, I think there's like 8 or 9 of them, and he was selling them for like $8 a piece. So I jumped on it, and I was super excited because I was like, that's a great deal for all those. They looked like they were in great condition based on the pictures, and they got lost in the mail. So it sucks. But I have started getting the other ones, so I picked up Lego Dimensions, Lego Movie Video Game, and Marvel Superheroes. I mean, I think these are all available on other platforms, so I'll probably play it there. But again, these are some of those that are just super cheap to get. I really wish I'd gotten that box with all of them. Part of me still hopes that maybe it'll show up on my doorstep one day or something, but I doubt it. Especially since I already got the refund, and I'm sure he put in something with the postal service and whatnot. And then finally on the Wii U, the last game that I picked up at Game Nut, that is Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge. I know nothing about Ninja Gaiden beyond the first game on the NES, and the second one. I have only played those, and they were brutally hard, but man, they were cool as hell. Just being like, oh, I'm playing a ninja game, and that's basically how it was when you were growing up as an NES kid. I don't know, maybe I'll try it at some point. Is it any good? Anybody know? I have no idea. But again, it was super, super cheap. So why not just to kind of get that Wii U collection off the ground and start going with that. Alright, so moving on. I got so many of these. This is like 6 months worth of stuff. So it's, well, yeah, because I think some of these I got for like Christmas. So, yeah, especially when I get to like the PS4 games, like, you just got Elden Ring? No, I've had it for a while. Spoiler. Okay, so, Switch games. We'll do that. Sure. First up, I got some Play Asia. I wasn't going to originally, and then Adrian sent me a picture of them having it up on their site, and I was like, and the more he talked about waiting for it and how good it was going to look on the shelf and everything, I was like, son of a... So I ordered Chrono Cross on the Switch. I've been playing it. I bought it on the PS4, PS5. So I've been playing it there. I actually will probably be finishing it after I finish this video. We're doing a whole pixel perspective on it, so I'll talk about it then. I have mixed feelings on it though. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. We'll just put it that way. Great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like gonna trash it or anything like that. But I do have some questionable design choices with it. So, anyways, but the game is beautiful nonetheless, and I think this is just such a gorgeous Switch games again for the millionth time. Look amazing on the shelf. So, which I'm gonna need to get another one pretty soon. Chrono Cross. Super happy to have that. I don't know where to put this stuff at all. Okay. Alright. Another, actually, handful of these I got on Play Asia. So, next one up, definitely did. That is Saga Frontier Remastered. Again, kind of the same reasons. I have this on PS4, PS5, and I plan on playing it there, mainly for the trophy support. And because the original game was on PlayStation, so it would just feel better for me on there. Same thing with Chrono Cross. But Saga Frontier has such really, really cool artwork. It's absolutely beautiful, and the box art on this is exactly what you'd expect if you're a fan of the game. It's a hard game to recommend to people, but it is a very, very, nostalgic one for me. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's not for everybody, but it is a beautiful game. One of the most gorgeous that I've played on the PS1. So, yeah, if you're curious about Saga Frontier, go look up a review or something on it, because it's very unique for sure. And in that same vein, I also picked up Romancing Saga 2 and 3. These are also Saga games. They're a little older, but I believe they were on the Super Famicom, if I'm not mistaken. I think I actually I bought one of these two, I don't remember which one, on the Switch eShop, and I haven't played it yet. But then I saw both of these actually really reasonably priced on Play Asia, and I was like, sure. So I snagged those there, and I'm super excited to have these in my collection, because again, the box art on these, I love JRPG character designs, man. I just love looking at them. They're just great. I know, I'm a dork, but I really, really do, and I can't wait to dive into these at some point for sure. Next is, you know what? So I mentioned the Chrono Cross thing where Adrian being like, oh, I just ordered it and check it out. Here's what it looks like. And blah, blah. I'm like, screw it, I got it too. All right. Same thing happened with my friend Cameron, who told me he was getting the Castlevania Anniversary Collection by Limited Run. And I was like, dang it, that looks really good. So I got it. I actually have this digitally on my Switch already, but the fact that they were bringing this physically is just incredible. Collection on here is just awesome too. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 4, Castlevania Bloodlines, Kid Dracula, Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, and Castlevania Adventure. Just so much on there, and there's a few of those that I haven't played yet, so I haven't finished any of them, but I've played most of them. And I've always wanted to give this series more of a shot. This would be another cool one, quite frankly, to do. Well, I guess it's not a first-party Nintendo thing, but it is like a classic. Anyway, I was gonna say it'd be another cool one to do one of these for, but that would be a Konami thing. So I don't know. Next up, Rune Factory 4 Special. I've never played a Rune Factory game. I believe 5 just came out, and I've always wanted to play them. I think I even have 3, and I just haven't gotten to them yet, but the art style and the concept, like kind of being like an action Harvest Moon kind of game, has always like intrigued me. So I keep being like, I'll get the next one and try it out, and I just don't. But once 5 came out, I saw this one was pretty cheap, so I snagged it. And I like the box art. I think it looks cool. And I probably will give this a shot at some point, because I've heard this one's actually a pretty good game. Another Play Asia thing that I did, that is the Dragon Quest games for Switch. Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. I've done a whole video on the Dragon Quest series. Go back, you can check that out. You can see my thoughts on every game in the series. I love it. It's great. Go check out that video and you can hear me gush about the entire series. I even did one where I ranked them all. I think, well, maybe it's the same one. I don't know. I did a video on ranking the entire Dragon Quest series. Go watch that and you'll see what I thought about them. I think it's a two-parter. Like I said a while ago, Triangle Strategy. I have talked about this on Pixel Perspective quite a bit. Fantastic game if you like Game of Thrones as a tactical RPG. It is very, very simplified. You're not going to get Final Fantasy Tactics out of this. It's not like that in depth as far as like character classes and that kind of thing. There is a diverse cast though. Like, so each character doesn't have their own like branches that they can do in different character classes, but each character is different from each other character, if that makes sense. So you can definitely customize your party and that kind of thing, but there's not like tons of customization options in there other than just switching out characters, which I'm totally okay with. But the story's fantastic. The only thing I would warn people on is it's very, very text heavy. So if you are not into reading in games, it may not be for you. If you don't mind that and you're like a fan of like Super Nintendo RPGs and that kind of thing, and you like reading a lot and it doesn't bother you at all, I highly recommend this for sure. It's a great game. Another one is Chocobo GP. I picked this up a while ago. I haven't played it yet, but I just PlayAsia had it, and I was like, I don't really want to buy it digitally, so I picked this up. I've heard mixed things from people. I will try this at some point, because it seems fun, and I'm a Final Fantasy freak, so I would like to try it out at some point for sure. Next up, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I want to play it so bad. I've been so like behind on my list of 20 games for the year. It's been really tough to like freaking. It's frustrating because I have been playing so much new stuff that I haven't had time for the old stuff on that list. I'm like so far behind where I should be. I was hoping to be at like 15 games beat for the year at this point, and I am at like 7. So it's because I've been playing just new stuff. But I definitely want to play this before the end of the year because I'm really, really like looking forward to it. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about this game, so definitely want to try it out. Again, not old, but I mean it's been a while. But Pokemon Legends Arceus, again, talked about it a ton on Pickle's Perspective. I played this game all the way to the end, did everything except for get to rank 10. I thought it was fantastic, caught everything, and really, really enjoyed this, and I would love to see more games in the Pokemon franchise in this style, for sure. And then Switch Sports, which I'm having a good time with. I love the original Wii Sports. That was what made me buy a Wii in the first place, because I like the bowling and everything like that, and this is more of that. The bowling online in this though is like a battle royale kind of thing where you like get eliminated if your score isn't up to match with everybody else, which is kind of neat. It's not like if this gets discounted, that's when I would say get it. Or if you're just a diehard Switch Sports fan, sure. You don't even need to get this big thing with the leg strap because it's not like there's just no necessary. There's no need for it. But it's a fun little game. You won't spend countless hours on it or anything like that. But if you like the original Wii Sports, you'll find fun with this for a short time at least, especially if you've got people to play with locally. So yeah, it's a good time. And then last but not least on Switch is the Pretty Presents NIS Classics Volume 2. I already have Volume 1, which I think it's so cool they're doing this, and Volume 3 is coming out later this year as well. This one has Makai Kingdom and ZHP. I don't know what either of these games are, but I know that the first two that came out in the first collection were like tactical RPGs. So I was like, I'm going to buy these things as they come out because they're re-releases of older games, and I like that. So I will always, I mean, anytime I can, I will try to support re-releasing older games. When it's not, some people, I can make a whole video on this, but some people say it's a cash grab, and I think in some cases it is, but I think in other cases, if you look at it from the standpoint of, I didn't get to play that when I was younger, and those games are astronomically expensive. now is a good chance for people to come in and play these games that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten a chance to get to it. And to me, that doesn't feel like a cash grab so much as like a second chance, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to have these in the collection. I don't have either of these games, otherwise I probably would never even pick them up. So I'm definitely stoked to have this here. Okay, here we go. Couple PS5 games. Elden Ring. Again, talked about it till the cows came home on Pixel Perspective. So go listen to that. Adrian and I talked about it like crazy. I finished this game. I finished the main story. Definitely didn't finish the whole game. But I finished the main story. Game of the year, probably. It's unbelievable. Fantastic. Stranger of Paradise. Yes, I picked it up. I have not played it yet. I still don't know when I'm going to get to it because I go back and forth on this so much. If you want to know how I really feel, just shoot me a message and I will send you like a 4-page freaking document on how I feel. Not really. I'll give you the too long didn't read. It's I don't know, man. I don't know. I will try it at some point, just because I think it's neat to be able to see some of these environments in 3D. But I don't know. I have a lot to say about it that I just don't want to like put into a video that's on something else. Then we got Dragon Quest Heroes 2. This is a game that I am not a fan of, like the Dynasty Warriors types games at all. I always lose interest like really fast, like the Zelda ones and everything like that. I buy them and then I play them like for 15-20 minutes and then I'm like, I'm just bored with this. I don't like it. I always want multiplayer, and this apparently has online co-op, so I want to try this with somebody at some point and see how that goes, because that actually sounds decent to me. So we'll see. It was super cheap, so why not? I snagged it. Wolfenstein. This is going to be, I believe it's the New Order that's going to be on my list this year. That is on my list this year, so I'll be playing that soon. It's the Alt History Collection, so it's got New Order, Old Blood, New Colossus, and Young Blood. 4 games on there, so super excited to have this. I've never played any of them other than I've played the original Wolfenstein, like Castle Wolfenstein from years ago, and that's it. Next is a game that literally I just saw was being pulled from the, I guess it's not going to be online anymore, so I was like, I will grab it just in case I want to try it at some point. I don't know. But I probably won't, but it's like less than $10, so why not? And I just grabbed it. And it's Fast and Furious Crossroads. I don't know anything about it, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I just saw it was cheap, and saw that I wasn't going to have any, that always like freaks me out when I hear that, even if it's something I'm not super interested in. I'm like, oh my god, if it's cheap, I will pick it up right now. Sure, okay, and then I do it. And then that's kind of what happened with Balan Wonderworld. Again, I am like, I've heard not the greatest things about this at all. It is Square Enix. I don't know if and when I'll get to it, but I saw that it was discounted heavily, so I was like, I'll see for myself, see how it goes. I miss the old days of Square Enix being like, you know, the king of RPGs, and you know, I wish that was the case. And this tells you how old it was, because I know I got this for Christmas. That is Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I am definitely looking forward to trying this out because the SMT games that I've played are fun, mainly Persona. But I definitely want to check this out at some point because, again, I've heard great things about that. And then another game that I didn't even realize they were like releasing on the PS4, and I'm really glad because that means I can play it on my newer consoles. That is Disgaea 1 Complete, because this is a game that is on my list of 20 as well that I'll be playing this year, so I will definitely be playing this on there. Yeah, super excited to try that out because I've always wanted to get into this Disgaea series, and I never have. There's one last thing. I don't even know if it's going to fit on camera completely, but if you follow me on Twitter, you saw me post about this, and it's really freaking cool, and I went into a store at my mall, and they let me buy it, so Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls display box, like just massive, just the same thing on both sides, but it's like the Game Boy Advance, like just box for the promotional item when it came out. Like, this is just so cool. I just thought it was neat, and they let me buy it, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. So it is here, and it is awesome, and I love it. Okay, this is a long video, so I apologize. It's probably going to take me forever to edit too. But thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I hopefully will be doing more in the future. I've got some ideas rattling around. So, you know, I'm still doing obviously pixel perspectives, so we'll have those keep rolling out. I am just really, really happy to finally get all these on video, so now I can put this stuff away because they've been just sitting. But thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know the drill. You've been to YouTube. I know it's been a while, but thank you for sticking with me and being here. Also, I'm getting somewhat close to 500 subscribers. If I hit 500, I'm going to do a video series on my top 100 games of all time. So help me get there. And I would like to do that because it'd be a really fun thing to knock out. Yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, keep on gaming.